Hi everybody, LG here, and welcome to r/Am I the A-hole? This one's from user Pepper Alternative 905. Am I the a-hole for not supporting my cousin who shaved her head due to cancer? I know the title sounds terrible, but please read first before judging. A few months ago, my cousin, who I am close with, was diagnosed with breast cancer. She was extremely lucky though, because it was caught very early. It had not spread and she had a lumpectomy to remove the tumor. The last I knew, she was recovering wonderfully and the doctors believed she was in the clear and making full recovery, other than needing to go in for frequent checkups for a while. So thankful. However, yesterday I was shocked to see she posted one of those videos with emotional music of her husband shaving her head, discussing about her fight. Immediately I panicked and called her thinking something happened and they found it had returned. When I asked her what happened and if she was okay, she said she was fine but sounded annoyed. So I pressed further. What happened? I saw you shaved your head. Do you need chemo? Is it back? Etc. She again insisted she was fine. So I flat out asked her why she cut her hair then. To which she replied, "It's what you do when you have cancer." I got really confused at first, but then remarked something along the lines of, "That's wonderful that you are shaving out of solidarity of everyone fighting." She huffed again and said no, she didn't do it out of solidarity. She had to cut her hair and she was annoyed that she had to and complained for a solid 5 minutes about how she was going to take care of a bald head. She was going to look awful with short hair, will constantly need to wear hats this summer, etc. I am completely baffled at this point, and I'll admit, I was a little annoyed. I don't take cancer or treatment lightly, so I said, "Cousin, people don't cut their hair just because they have cancer. They cut it because they are going to undergo a treatment that will make their hair fall out. Your treatment was done. You had no reason to cut your hair. If you did it in a show of support, that's fine too. But you have no right to complain or be annoyed when you choose to cut it and then post a video about it to gain sympathy because you did so." She told me I was being a witch and yelled at me for not supporting her, and how could I be so unkind? Now, I was by her side for every appointment when she was diagnosed and her husband couldn't be there. I was there for a few days post-surgery to help her and her family out. I always have and always will support her. But this is not that at all. I feel like I'm losing my mind because she just doesn't understand that having cancer automatically equals cut your hair no matter what, even if you're already, as far as you know, recovered? So I might be the a-hole because, simply put, I got snippy with a cancer patient for cutting her hair. But I feel like I'm not since it wasn't necessary to do it in the first place. Am I the a-hole? And I'm sure it won't surprise you that the judgment of the community is that OP is not the a-hole. So now let's take a look at the top comments to understand why. Rocco Dog says, "Hi, hello, cancer survivor here. I had the chemo that makes your hair fall out. My hair fell out in chunks, so my husband shaved it. It was the most emotional day of my life after my diagnosis. I did not post any videos of it happening or of the day I did it. It was effing hard to process. Now my hair is crazy and growing back in, and it is not cute." Not the a-hole OP, and I feel like perhaps you should try to have a conversation with your cousin about why she is feeling like she had to do this performative stunt. Try to be there to support her for that, if you can. Godzilla Zoot says, "Not the a-hole, and I'm confused. Does she think a shaved head is a cancer-centric fashion choice? Like, you just shave your head when you get cancer to let everyone know you have cancer? Does she not know that people do that when their hair starts falling out from chemo? I can see why she could be super defensive about shaving her head if she didn't realize she had done it for no reason until you told her. I would be absolutely mortified if that was me. She should probably order a wig and lay low for a while." Turgiverse Sensation says, giving her the benefit of the doubt intelligence-wise? Sounds like she's irritated you caught on to the sympathy grab. It also sounds like she got snippy with you when you were just trying to understand her weird rationale. If she honestly thinks that's what you do when you have cancer, then I kind of feel bad for her for making a silly mistake. But it sounds a lot more like attention-seeking behavior to me. Also, not the a-hole. Okay, well, first of all, OP, it's good to know that your cousin is in the clear and she's not ill. Second is, while I was reading your post and your cousin said that line, "That's what you do when you get cancer," I facepalmed. It sounded like this. Now, like these commenters have said, I think she got mad at you for one of two reasons. One is that you helped her realize that she did something idiotic and is going to have to spend a lot of time growing her hair back. Or two, because you called her out on her sympathy grab in social media. Neither of those things make you an a-hole, so don't worry about it. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you think OP was being the a-hole? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section, and now let's move on with the update to see what happened after this. My original post got a lot more responses than I thought and had a lot of people calling my cousin an idiot, so I just wanted to give an update. Some of you said her head was not in the right place, and some of you also asked about her husband, and it was a combination of those that turned out to be the truth. It had been about a week and my cousin called me to come over and talk to her. When I got there, I immediately apologized for my reaction to her actions, and I assured her that we'll always support her no matter what, and that I was just confused and in shock and didn't think before I spoke. She started bawling and told me how she felt like she was so stupid for doing what she did. She told me that ever since her cancer diagnosis, she feels like she's just been walking around feeling lost. She was so concerned about the repercussions on her family, on her daughter, that she had all this building on her, and then, when she was told she was practically in the clear, rather than having a weight lifted off her shoulders, she just kept feeling like she had to keep looking behind her waiting for the scary monster to pop back out. And that she also has guilt because she got off easy. Her words, not mine. Unfortunately, she chose to express these feelings to her husband, who convinced her that shaving her head would help. A bunch of bull about how it would help her feel more in control and would be empowering. As I said in some comments, her husband is very much woe is me. So I'm sure him getting a chance to show how he was just so supportive as a husband was right up his alley. He ultimately was the one that took the video, added the music, and posted it on her page. In no uncertain terms, I told her that her husband is an idiot, lol, and that she should have probably asked someone else's opinion first. Heck, even her 13-year-old would have talked her out of shaving her head for goodness sake, lol. We spent a long time looking at pictures of celebrities who had shaved their heads and how they styled it as it grew back to help her. And I offered to go help her get some wigs if she wanted to as well. And that regardless, she is still beautiful and she can totally own a bald look. I also recommended that she speak to someone professional about what she is feeling. She agreed this was a good idea and will start looking for someone. Ultimately, we're in a great place. Aha, well, that facepalm that I did before, I'm gonna change the meaning of it and it's for the husband. He's a moron. I'm not a big fan of the woe is me kind of people, to be honest, but I guess that's just me. I just have a really low tolerance for self-pity and victimization. Anywho, what do you guys think about this husband? Let me know in the comment section and let's move on to the next post. This one's from user DuckFeederThrow. Am I the a-hole for refusing to stop putting out food for the ducks and geese in my neighborhood? I live in a northern climate and have always put food out for ducks and geese. I put out cracked corn, oats, and sometimes some veggie scraps from my cooking. I used to only do it during the winter when I know food can be scarce, but after a few years I started having ducks and geese come to my yard during the spring, looking for food. So I started putting stuff out for them year-round. There are no regulations regarding this in the city where I live, and for the most part I haven't had any problems with neighbors. Until recently. My next door neighbors, a family of 4, are in the process of selling their house. The housing market where we live has been crazy so far this year, and houses are selling incredibly fast and in many cases for far more than asking price. Except my neighbor's house has been on the market since before Christmas and still hasn't sold. Like the majority of houses in my neighborhood, it's an old 50s style rambler that is in need of some work and updating. But it has not sold yet and my neighbors are blaming me for it. They say that whenever they have a showing or an open house, my yard is filled with ducks and geese, and it turns off potential buyers. They angrily demanded, not asked, that I stop feeding the ducks and geese so that they can sell their home. I told them that their home not selling was not my problem and that I would continue to put food out for the ducks and geese like I always have. They threatened to call the city and the police, and I told them to go ahead. Sure enough, I got a visit from the city and they asked some questions about the type of food I put out for the birds and asked me to prove that I was indeed putting out food suitable for them. They left satisfied with my answers and told me that I was doing nothing wrong according to city regulations. Last weekend, my neighbors had another open house and as usual, my yard had a few ducks and geese in it. Less than usual as there are plenty of other food options available to them now, but maybe a dozen total birds. After the open house, the husband of the family came over and knocked on my door and started yelling at me that they had 2 potential buyers back out of deals directly because of me feeding the birds. He just kept yelling at me that it was my fault they can't sell their house and that I am the one obstacle keeping them from moving. I was very uncomfortable with how aggressive he seemed, so I told him that he needed to leave my property or I was going to call the cops. He left, but he called me a bunch of names as he walked away, and the whole encounter left me kind of rattled. I live alone and feeding the birds is one of the joys I have in my life. Am I an a-hole for refusing to stop? Should I just stop until their house sells? And on this one, the Am I the a-hole community decided that everybody sucks here. So now let's take a look at the top comments to see their reasoning. The Butcher of Baklava says, everybody sucks here. The way your neighbor handled this situation was wrong. From a wildlife perspective, you should not make what sounds like a horde of geese dependent on you for survival. That's a problem from an ecological perspective. When you said a few geese, I thought you meant like 5. If 12 is a small amount, then that's a problem. Nyank says, everybody sucks here. You may not be breaking a rule, but you are purposely attracting more wildlife to your area than would naturally be there. That's noise, that's poop, that's no one else living by you can avoid. I can't understand my neighbors who do this because it attracts squirrels and raccoons that break into attic spaces and basements or scratch up our balconies. It's all extra wear and tear that we don't want. Go to the park and feed the birds if you absolutely have to. Wefter Wright says, you're the a-hole. You are in a residential neighborhood attracting wildlife on purpose. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. Wonder how much bird crap they leave all over the place and the noise levels. Of course, they shouldn't have yelled and intimidated you, but we are here to judge you. Now that I have read a lot of the comments, I do agree with the community. First I was torn between everybody sucks and you're the a-hole, but now I'm leaning more towards everybody sucks here. Regarding your neighbor OP, yes, he reacted badly, although I definitely understand his frustration. He did not ask you to stop, he demanded. And then you said that him not selling his home is not your problem. And you are absolutely right, it is not your problem, but that doesn't mean that you are not the reason. Additionally, I agree with all of the other commenters regarding the ecological impact and the amount of crap that there must be in the neighborhood thanks to you feeding the birds and all that. And that's where you suck. If you really want to feed the birds and it makes you feel good, go do it at the park or at the lake. Does it need to be in your backyard when you know you're impacting other people's lives? I don't think so. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with the community judgment? Would you say OP is the a-hole or not the a-hole? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the next post. This one's from user JezRK_. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother he's a crap boyfriend after he got mad at me for helping his girlfriend? This happened a couple days ago with my bro and me, both 17. We're fraternal twins. His girlfriend lost her dog 2 weeks ago. I only know because he told us about it. So last Thursday, I was getting off the bus and going home after work. I saw her around the corner a couple of blocks from my house, and she was literally crying in front of a light pole. I asked her what was up and she said they found her dog but he wasn't alive. Sad face. She was going around the neighborhood taking down all the lost dog flyers, and it made her emotional looking at the picture of him. She said she didn't think she could handle more of it because she thought she'd be taking down the flyers for a different reason. I asked her where Cody, my bro, was, and he could have come help her. She said he was playing basketball with his friends and didn't want to come. So I just told her to tell me the streets where she put them up and I'll go take them down. It's cause I got where she was coming from. My cat died 2 years back and it effing sucked having to take flyers down and being reminded they're gone. I did that. Then Friday, Cody was giving me crap for literally doing her a favor and I made him look bad for not going with her. I told him it wasn't a big deal, but he didn't shut up about it all weekend and kept being moody with me. Then he was saying crap about keeping her away from me since I'm obviously trying to make a move on her. Like, what the F? I have a girlfriend I've been with for 5 years and I'm no effing cheater. So that's when I snapped at him. First, that he was the one who decided to be with his friends, then her that night. And also, it's not my fault he's being a crap boyfriend since he cares more about how I made him look rather than she got help with something. Cody got all mad and he went to his room. Now my parents are saying I was out of line and I need to apologize to him for insulting him when he's already feeling insecure. But I haven't because I don't think I should, and so they're acting like I was a total ass for saying that to him. But was I though? And on this one, the community unsurprisingly calls OP not the a-hole. Now let's go check out the top comments to see why they say this. Ronit Sarangi says, quote, "For insulting him when he's already insecure," end quote. If the truth is insulting to him, then maybe he needed to hear it. You're a good person for helping your brother's girlfriend when she was devastated and emotional, and your brother's reaction shows what he values more in his relationships: himself, his image, basketball probably, and then his girlfriend, not the a-hole. Gutto McWitch says, "Not the a-hole. Your brother seems like he's the type that confuses being nice for romantic interest. On top of that, he doesn't like the fact that he was confronted by how inventive his actions were. If you hadn't gotten involved, he was probably just going to gaslight her into not being mad with him. Now it's very obvious how crappy he was and he doesn't like that self-imposed smear." Hem91 Uzumaki says, "Not the a-hole. You were just doing a kind thing for your brother's girlfriend while he was out playing ball with his friends. He can't get mad at you for his own neglect. Also, damn, you've had a girlfriend since you were 12? Good on you, bud." Yeah, OP, your brother's acting like a Naz. He's just upset at you because you've shown a light on how crappy a boyfriend he is, and he doesn't like it, of course. Like that other commenter said, it's all about his image. Hopefully the girlfriend will realize that she's way down the list in his priorities and will leave him. Maybe that'll be a wake-up call and to finally understand that when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to be there for your partner. I mean, come on, the girlfriend was grieving her dead dog and this guy just goes like, "Nah, I'm not gonna help you, I'd rather play basketball with my friends." Yeah, that doesn't say emotional support any way you slice it. Anyways, what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you tell the girlfriend? And this is that moment in the video when I ask you that if you liked this video, please go ahead and give it a like. Additionally to that, you can subscribe if you still haven't joined the community. And if you'd like to further engage with the community, just go to our Discord server. There's a link in the description along with other links that you might find very interesting. And of course, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. It's really awesome to know that you guys like and enjoy them so much. So having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.